Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Bugs along with the coach out at Scoreboards, 10655 Corsi Boulevard. Coach, we start this week talking about our LSU basketball Tigers once again continuing that up and down play. 12-point deficit in the second half against Missouri, but they managed to pull this one out.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get, look like, with this team. I mean,
the cardiac cats.
And I think it's because of the inconsistency of the point guard play. I really think that's where it begins.
Well, on the other hand, though, this time, unlike the last time we were with our audience at home, all 5 starters scored in double digits. It kind of makes you think, obviously that's the kind of balance you want, but again, without that real rock-solid leadership at the point, sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way it is. And when you face the more high-end quality teams in the SEC, that's why you usually run into problems.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll the highlights from that LSU and Mizzou contest, and we'll continue our conversation. Speaking, and that's a perfect segue for me, Coach, thank you. Speaking of higher caliber teams, later tonight, number 10, Kentucky comes a calling in the PMAC. They're going to have to put together a solid effort.
Oh, yeah. Kentucky plays about 8 to 9 solid players. They really could do more, but the other kids just don't fit into the rotation.
Right.
What Carolina would like to have it. But they really have a lot of talented players, and they play defense.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I have to say. That guards play really solid defense.
The Tigers in their recent performances have been rock solid at the free throw line. As a matter of fact, up against Missouri, 29 of 34 from the free throw line. That's great execution of just the basic principles of the game.
Yeah, when you score, those are called gifts. When I played them, they were called gifts.
Right.
And you have to take advantage of gifts. Free throws are what they are. So a little more concentrated is needed to make sure that you concentrate on making them.
Now, once again, as we look at these highlights, the Tigers did the same thing on the road against Alabama. Little different result. Fell behind by 18 points, but lost in the last minute and a half. At some point, this comes back to bite you, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and it's probably what happened, Clarence. And I didn't see a lot of the game. Is that they gave easy baskets. Usually, that's one of the way teams come back on you.
Yeah.
You give up cheap baskets. You know?
The 4 starters were in double figures, so you kind of get the sense that as this season continues to go along, this team is getting better and better and better at playing together.
Well, that's really what they're going to need, because when you're not extremely talented, and I'm not saying that they're not talented.
Right, I understand, yeah.
But, you have to play together. Even talented teams must play together to be successful.
Skylar Mays continues to lead this team. 20-plus points in each of the last 3 games. even though we don't have a Tremont Waters like we did last year running the offense, that's still some invaluable leadership, isn't it?
It is, and he's more, he can push the ball up the floor and score really good. And he's the ultimate team player, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Will Wade has managed to weather that storm of last year, was able to put together a team that many didn't have a whole lot of positive outlook on this year. But here they are, up near the top of the Southeastern Conference. How important is it and how good is it to see basketball once again come alive at the Maravich Assembly Center and in the city of Baton Rouge?
Yeah, you see, one of the things that hurt Will Wade in his recruiting is that he couldn't recruit when he was sitting down.
Right.
And that hurt you when you're recruiting that top kid. And I'm sure they missed out on some of the top kids that they were in the running for.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't there to talk with them.
Yeah. Now, legacy obviously plays a little bit into all of this as well. It was announced just in the last couple of days that Shaquille O'Neal's son has decided he's going to transfer from UCLA to LSU. That sort of goodwill goes a long way down the road, doesn't it?
It really does, and the key is we got to make sure now this kid, Sharice is his name?
Yes.
Is a player, like half the player his dad was.
Yeah.
Because he's coming into a pressure situation when expectation is going to be extremely high. So, we just hope that the young man fits in well. And my thing is, what I look for is that he be a good teammate.
Yeah. Can you imagine what kind of pressure that is? I mean, you go somewhere and you introduce yourself to someone, and then during the course of the conversation, they find out, whoa, you're Shaquille O'Neal's son. Can you imagine what kind of pressure that is for a young man?
My son didn't play any sports, and my wife, when she was alive, used to always say, it's too much pressure on my son that he has to carry your last name because people expect the same thing or more, and he may not be able to deliver. He may just be a kid that loves to do it. And you know what? I started thinking about it, and it's so much pressure on your people who parents are highly successful. And they have to live in that shadow.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we will shift gears from basketball to baseball when we continue segment 2 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Break out of the chaos.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back for segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We shift gears now and talk, Coach, a little LSU baseball. Actually, baseball collegiate in our area in general. Tigers opened their season with the series win over Indiana in baseball. How important is a first game win, or does it not mean a whole lot because, after all, you play so many games in a collegiate baseball season?
You do, but wins are always important, Clarence. They're better than a loss.
True.
So they're important.
True.
And, so you always, because you can't lose it once you win it.
Right.
And once you lose it, you can't win it. So that's why wins are important no matter where they come.
All right, say that again. Once you win it, you can't lose it. Once you lose it, you can't win it.
That's right.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. We'll ask the guys out in the truck if they will be so kind as to go ahead and roll the highlights from the LSU Indiana series.
Ooh, look at Baby.
Yeah, now we got to work on that pitch delivery, Coach.
Yeah, we got to work a little bit.
He one-hopped that one from the mound to the plate. But when you got a national championship under your belt, I don't think anybody's going to hold that against you,
No,
Coach.
they didn't care about that.
A program as storied as LSU's, how much pressure is there to win early, and win often? And how do you fight that off as a coach?
Well, you don't want to fight it off because Coach Maneri knew that when he came there,
Right.
he was following Skip Berkman with 5 national championships.
Yes.
So he knew that the expectations were extremely high,
Right.
higher than wherever he has been.
Right.
So he understood that, and he's done a really good job. He's won a national championship, and he's gone to Omaha several times. So it's just tough to keep winning championships.
Yeah, that kind of says something about the character of, number one, Coach Maneri, and number two, the competitive human nature. I mean, not everybody is going to be willing to step into the shoes of a guy that won 5 national championships because they know you're under that proverbial microscope from day one.
Well, he didn't come in the first coach after him. Smoke Lavelle
True,
was
Smoke,
there,
yeah.
and then he came after Smoke. So he had the buffer in between.
Right.
So, and he won it, I think, in his second or third year. He won the national championship.
After winning the first 2 games against Indiana of this 3-game opening weekend series, they dropped the third one 7-2. This time of year, what typically comes together first, offense or defense?
Well, pitching usually be ahead of the hitting early,
Okay.
historically. And then if you get good pitching and good defense, they will go hand in hand.
Right.
So, but defense could be ahead of offense because you take a lot of swings to perfect it because that's the toughest thing to do in all of sport. Hit a round object with a round object that is moving.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about one that's potentially 90, 95, 97 miles an hour. They make it look a whole lot easier than it actually is. Let's step across town. The Jags, meanwhile, open with the big come-from-behind win, 9-3 over UNO. What did it mean to that program to pick up where they left off last year with the big win?
Well, I thought that was excellent that they were able to be down late and then find a way to win it and got the pitching out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So they did very well in game 1.
Game 2 of what is billed as the Andre Dawson Classic. The Jags pound Alcorn 8-3. Always good to beat a team that you're going to see later in the season?
Yes, it is. And I saw that game, and I like what I saw. One of the pitchers, Wilhelm Allen, kid that I brought in,
Correct.
pitched a really good game, and I like what the Southern did. Their offense they got key hits, and they played really good defense. So that made them 2-0, and they were doing really good at that point.
Right, at that point, because after, quote, that point, they end up dropping the next 2 to Alabama State and Grambling. This early in the season, what do you tell your team, and what are you focused on the most?
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about it because they were in the game, and Alabama State is the best team in the league.
Correct.
When you're talking about talent. And I saw Grambling beat University of New Orleans, and they're not a bad team either. They have good, solid pitching, solid defense, and good hitting. So I thought that Southern played well in all 4 games. They didn't make a bunch of mistakes.
Right.
So it's just a matter of them brushing up on a couple of things.
It looks as though Alabama State has made a concerted effort on the diamond. You mentioned talent as far as the baseball squad is concerned. They are also pretty much the consensus pick to win it all in softball. Seems like they've kind of made a decision that we're going to focus a lot of resources on the product that we put on the diamond for both the men and the young ladies.
Well, they've done it with all of their sports, and you have to give them credit. They upgraded their facilities. They hired good coaches and paid them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to be a team, a program to watch in the SWAC.
Yeah. This week, midweek, LSU, Southern at the box. Is that a part of your legacy along with Skip Bertman that we've got these two crosstown institutions playing now on a regular basis, or are you going to be Mr. Modest like you usually are and say, Clarence, it was bound to happen sooner or later, whether Skip and I did it or not?
Well, I'm not going to say it was bound to happen, and I'm not going to say it's part of my legacy, but it was something that we felt was good for Baton Rouge when we started it, because let's face it, we had a mayor, Pat Screen at the time, and we needed to bring the two cities together.
Right.
I mean, the North Baton Rouge, South Baton Rouge. And so that's why we did it, because it was healthy, and it's grown into a really good thing.
Right.
20-some years later.
Yeah, I told you the guy, Mr. Modesty, but hey, we already know it, and that's why we love him. When we come back, segment 3 of the Mr. Modesty, I mean the Roger Cador Show. Stay with us.
You hear that, Al? Modesty. Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Break out of the chaos.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Welcome back to segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. If you all only knew how much fun we have during commercial breaks, it is absolutely a joy to behold. Coach, let's talk about the ladies over at LSU. The gymnastics team, as we rolled the highlights from that latest meet with Kentucky, took down Kentucky. What Dee Bro fosters is a culture of winning, isn't it? They expect to perform well and win, don't they?
Yeah, and at the same time, have fun at it.
Yeah,
Dee Bro is a bag of fun.
Good point.
She's so different and she loves everyone. And they love her too.
That culture of winning, how far can that take a program? I mean, obviously you have to have the talent, you have to have the coaching, but don't you also have to have young ladies, and for that matter, young men, come into a place where from day one they understand we expect you to excel?
Well, I think that's why they choose the school, because they know about the expectation.
Right.
You know, when I was recruited, kids knew that they had a chance to win to Southern, and they wanted to be a part of that tradition.
Right. What's the old saying? We know we're the best because we got the S on our chest.
Ooh, pretty good, Clarence.
And it makes sense. Now, when you look across the board at the athletic department at LSU, does that expectation of winning and striving to be champions. Does that have a habit of permeating from one program to another, from basketball to softball to gymnastics, et cetera, et cetera?
It have a rolling down effect, and I really believe that. Because one thing about kids in the sports program, they all support each other.
Yeah.
They all care about each other. So they want to win too. They want, because kids go to these, I'm sure there are some football players, basketball players.
Oh,
baseball,
yeah.
They go to these other events to support their friends.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the program that loses while the football team is there supporting you, but the football team is winning while you're there supporting them. You just don't want that equation to be so out of balance in that regard. Speaking of the ladies, Coach Beth Torina's softball team ranked number 7 in the nation. Is this another case of we expect to win no matter what?
Yeah, I think it is. I saw him play a couple of innings against UL this past weekend.
And again, it's like you're reading my script or something, Coach. That's a perfect lead-in. The Tigers beat number 13 ULL in the final game of the LSU Invitational, 4-3, in a game that really felt like a playoff game because obviously ULL beat LSU the day before. It brought a huge contingent of fans out from Lafayette over to Baton Rouge. Something like that can only be good for both programs.
Yeah, well, and the fact that the coach before, Yvette Girard, has her name on the stadium in Lafayette, and she coached at LSU. I just think that this is a really good thing.
Yeah, and you got to tip your hat to all the programs around Louisiana. When you look at programs that enjoy elite status, whether it's in the SEC, whether it's in the Southland Conference, whether it's in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, they make it a point to play one another, bring these two fan bases together at varying events, athletic events across the state. That's good for the state, not only for keeping our money in state, but also fostering better relationships between the sister universities, correct?
It really does, and you know, whether the non-revenue sports or Olympic sports doesn't generate any fun, but it's just a healthy relationship, a good thing to play each other. I know that Southern Baseball is playing mainly all of the state schools.
Right.
They're playing, I don't think they're playing McNeese and Centenaire, but they're playing baseball and the one in Monroe. But they're playing everybody else.
Right.
And I think that is really good, and I think Coach Jackson is going to do a very good job if he could get the support of the administration.
When we come back, we will wrap up this week's edition of the Mr. Modesty, Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Al, did you hear it? Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you. Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Coach, we want to talk about something that we very seldom, if ever. This may be a first in the, 17, 18 years that we've been doing your show now. I want to talk a little bit about NASCAR. I know for a fact that a lot of folks that watch this show and a lot of folks that are in the area where the show airs are people of faith. And we want to offer some prayers for the family and for the guy himself, Ryan Newman. As we roll the tape, as most NASCAR fans know, the Daytona 500 happened this week. You saw the replay of this wreck. What did you think when you saw this wreck, Coach?
Well, I thought that it was no way. I thought only the worst, because when you see how vicious it is, you could never think that someone could come out alive when they hit the wall. And
yeah,
then
it's coming up. It's coming up.
Coming up. You know, it's just so crazy. You know,
the technology behind all of this is just absolutely amazing. And you look at these guys this close together, and here it comes for those of you that have not seen it.
There it is. One.
And then
get hit again. Airborne.
And you thought you had a rough commute on I-10 in Baton Rouge 5 days a week.
Look at this.
And here you slide God knows how many thousands of feet on fire, upside down. And the latest report that I checked last night, and I am assuming that it is still the same today, is that these are not life-threatening injuries. And that's the second vicious hit right there as you slide back into traffic.
And you're worried coming down that way, did it hit his head and neck? And I mean, but look at the rescue team on the scene.
Unbelievable use of technology. Absolutely amazing. You know, when I look at something like this, Coach, and I think about all the sports that we cover and everything else, how blessed are we in this country to be able to enjoy all the stuff that we enjoy?
We live in a great country, Clarence. I've said this on the show many times. We have a lot of problems, but it's still the greatest country in the world. I've been to many countries, but this is the greatest country in the world because we have technology. Our food is safe. The water we drink, everything we safe. We have army that protects us. So, I mean, it's just a wonderful country to be in.
Yeah, and hopefully those of you watching will take just a minute as you send up some prayers for a full and speedy recovery for Ryan Newman. But hopefully you will also reflect on the wonderful things that we have in this country and the things that make us truly the greatest country on the face of God's green earth. That is going to put a wrap on another edition of the Roger Cador Show. I'm Clarence Buggs, and the crew says to be sure to tell you we love you and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the Roger Cador Show.